Hello everyone, and today I am going to discuss my personal statement of social responsibility. My vision of positive social change in regards to the opioid epidemic is we all have a responsibility to fight back against the entity that created this mess in the first place. The big pharma corporations continue to make billions of dollars on this epidemic. For example, these companies now have medicine that will cure constipation due to opioid use, not to mention the medications that they have that are prescribed to help fight addiction that people have developed due to the opioids in the first place. So when you look at the bigger picture, they are just continuing the opioid addiction with other medications to mask those side effects. If we as a society take a step back and look at the bigger picture, this is a problem that is so big, I think we all need to play a role in fighting it. As our society gets sicker from opioid use and addiction, the big pharma companies just continue to get richer and richer. From working at a not-for-profit substance abuse agency for 10 years, there are many different perspectives and views when it comes to addiction. Opioid addiction is not immune to this. When it comes to stakeholders, there will be a multitude of them that I want to reach out to. Off the top of my head, a few of the immediates will be the addicts themselves, substance abuse counselors, parents, and law enforcement. From these groups, I can tell you some of the perspectives that and views that we will probably encounter due to the fact of the field that I worked in. I heard a lot of them while I was there. Some of them will be, I never thought that I would become addicted to opioids. Why would my doctor prescribe me something that is bad for me? Working with patients with an opioid addiction is so difficult. The addiction is stronger than anything else we have ever dealt with before. And then when it comes to parents, my child would never abuse their medication. Their friends would never offer them something like that. And the classic that we hear from many people over and over again is we don't have that problem here in our community. We have seen an increase in crime due to the use of opioids. They are stealing in order to get money for the drugs. That's something that we've heard over and over again from law enforcement. It's an upswing on trends. Unfortunately, it is in direct correlation to opioid overuse. With such a wide array of opinions, you have to keep the conversations open and encourage brainstorming on how to make things better. The other piece of the puzzle that I will need to keep in mind is social norms and how they will come into play. There are many people who still have a stigma around addiction, and opioid addiction is not immune to this. The mentality that it won't happen to me is very evident. These drugs do not discriminate, and they will encroach on anyone's life, no matter your economic or your social status. In order to make my point, I would love to have input from people who are still working through the addiction and people who have overcome it. As long as we keep the conversations anonymous, I don't think we'll have to worry about any of the HIPAA laws that really tie into this. From what I have learned over the past few weeks, it seems to me like action research is a perfect start for this topic. In order to raise awareness, conversations need to be had by all walks of life. People who are already addicted, to law enforcement, to counselors, to trying to help fight addiction, and to parents who are struggling to save their children's lives. According to Webster, those exposed are at risk to become addicted. It's as simple as that. Once you have utilized an opioid, your percentage of becoming addicted raises tremendously. My plan to initiate and encourage dialogue with stakeholders and audiences is through social media. This will be the easiest way to get feedback from all different stakeholders, and it would allow them to have a voice on a topic that is sensitive, and sometimes not easy to say when you're in front of a group of people. Some people are afraid to tell their opinion when they're in front of people just because their opinion may not be the same as the person sitting next to them, and that can be scary sometimes. According to Stringer, blogs can be used for a variety of purposes, including a way of people finding and joining virtual communities as a place to disseminate results. I would utilize a blog to get conversations started, and I can post certain data or facts to get the opinions of participants. I would also utilize Facebook to collect opinions and the thoughts of certain people on articles or topics that are related to the opioid epidemic. Thank you.